Starfield landed itself around a ton of drama, and there is a lot that we have to go over with that. We also got to look at the 4th companion, so now we have all the companions outlined. We also have to talk about some of the stuff around the exploration of planets, and a whole bunch more. What's up, World Tripper? Back into the river, checking out all things Starfield. Okay, so let's just jump right into all the stuff going on right now with the boundaries and all the things that are being talked about. Now, I'm not going to go into any specific leaks here. I'm only going to go over stuff that's been publicly talked about. But there was a bunch of drama around the planet exploration as well as this new boundary thing that's going on. Now, there was a tweet here that essentially kind of set everything off. Now, the tweet that Jez Corden did respond to here was deleted. However, this persisted to some following events. So Jez Corden responded here saying this is not actually entirely accurate. And then he went on to further respond saying, just wait for the reviews, the half-truths being spread are being done in bad faith sometimes. But then we also had a response here from Tom Henderson, who said just getting around to all this Starfield boundary stuff from an article that went up on IG, which I actually thought was fine since deleted. Basically, planets have different number of landing spots with terrain limits. One planet might have 3 landing spots, whilst another might have 5. These are your main landing spots with POIs, and then you have another number of landing spots at locations where you can land anywhere, once again terrain limit. Essentially, he goes on to here to explain that you can't run around a planet, or at least you can't run around the whole thing. He goes on to say that this might just be to do with stress with the computers or consoles and just limiting of that nature. Now, people do take this sort of thing and kind of mix it with the context of what Pete Hines said. So about 5 days ago, there was someone here by the name of Jeff Threat who tweeted at Starfield game and Bethesda saying, when I land on a planet, will I be able to explore the whole planet entirely? And Pete Hines responded here saying, yep, if you want, walk on, brave explorer. And so essentially with this whole boundary thing, people are saying that you can't really walk through the planet, or at least the entire planet all at once. And there's some things there with the boundaries and the actual tile sets there as well. And this was actually explained on the Lex Friedman podcast with Todd Howard, where he did go over how the tile sets kind of work when you click on an area that brings up a tile set, and kind of how that tile set would be generated to the next one and to variants there. And there's been a massive mixed reception around this, which some of it is a lot of Sony or PlayStation players backpacking, kind of bandwagoning on this like sort of hate train. Some does actually seem pretty valid in its certain criticisms, but it is at least bringing a lot of discussion around exactly how the game will function. Now, we do have a post here that says, why are people pretending that they would explore the entire planet? They highlighted some comments of people saying this basically breaks immersion, that you won't be able to explore the whole thing or the way that tile sets work. I do think one valid argument there is that at least you would want the option to go where you please and at least be able to explore freely. However, this doesn't really bother me too much, and I kind of already re-listened to the Lex Friedman podcast a little bit ago, so I kind of knew or at least understood how the tile sets worked back then, as well as when I rewatched it just this last week. But it made sense to me that these tile sets would kind of be in conjunction with one another. We'll have to see if they are seamless. You know, there's a lot of discourse around this right now, if they can actually be blended together or if they're actually together in a sort of tile set manner. On the other hand, people do point out that No Man's Sky as well as Star Citizen kind of have these like blank, empty planets, and there's nothing really going on there, and it's kind of just a desolate zone, and they don't really find that to be fun or exploring. Other people pointed out that in No Man's Sky, they would just check if there were certain resources there, then they would drop in and leave out, so it didn't really matter that they weren't having a location that wasn't this kind of open, boundless area. I definitely understand the criticisms on both sides, however, I just mainly hope for a good RPG and good gameplay mechanics. I'm less worried about the space sim portion of the game and more so worried about how the game will play as an RPG. Which, speaking of an RPG and speaking of the companions, we actually did get the 4th companion, at least finally announced. Now, it doesn't seem that they showed anything other than just images, and we do have these 3 images here that kind of go over her backstory and what she is. And this is Andrea, who's an astronomer navigator. Now, her description is beneath Andrea's seemingly cold demeanor, there is an air of mystery. Her proficiency in clandestine observations certainly raises some questions regarding her past endeavors. While her efficiency in the field is undeniable, Andrea can be fiercely independent to a fault. Vlad, an outsider himself, has been her greatest ally in helping her embrace this new UC way of life. So we'll definitely need some more context around that as far as kind of how that's going to play out, especially as her being one of the primary companions. Now, of course, we do have Sarah Morgan, the chair of the Constellation, as well as Barrett, who is an engineer, and recently announced Sam Coe, a pilot, with of course last being Andrea, who is the astronomer navigator. And of course we can't leave out Vasco, who is the robot companion. However, he seemingly isn't a primary companion, at least comparative to the others, or at least with the same sort of in-depthness in the conversations and the sort of things that you can do with the other companions. I am curious on what companions you're looking forward to, if you're going to use them or not use them at all. I might even do a full solo playthrough, as I might kind of do like a full stealth playthrough. and typically you kind of want to be by yourself when you do stealth. So I might do that. I usually kind of play that way, at least that's kind of how I did Cyberpunk and a few of these other games. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not exactly drawn to any of these companions exactly per se. However, they do seem good overall, and we'll kind of just have to see how they play in-game. If you aren't able to get the game, or at least afford Starfield, there seems like there is a giveaway on the Starfield Reddit that I figured I'd point out. This person here, I don't know how exactly reliable they'll be, but they are on the Starfield subreddit, and they said that they will give away a code for Starfield. This is actually the Constellation Edition. Now, this is seemingly an Xbox code. I'm not exactly sure if you could use this in the Windows Store and play it on PC as well. Although I think you probably can because it is, I believe, a play anywhere. But yeah, you wouldn't be able to use this necessarily through Steam. Again, just a cool little thing that I thought I'd point out for a free copy. Another really cool thing is someone here made an entire thing for animations and a bunch of scenes and overlay if you are a streamer. Not sure there'd be any streamers that watch this video, but if you are, there's a bunch of free stuff here that you can utilize on your Twitch or Kick or wherever you're streaming. Thought it was kind of cool, and someone that did it stuff for free, I figured, hey, I might as well feature it as well. Also, if you are looking for any build guides or even like a stealth build guide or mechanics on that, I might be doing a build series for Starfield itself and seeing how that plays for an actual guide. And just like my other build guides, I'll try to jam-pack those with a bunch of information and utilize tools. There also has been a few postings with the skills and traits and stuff like that. However, a lot of these are being deleted and taken away, so I'm not going to cover that in this video itself. And there was even a post that I was just going to briefly touch on that had some of the stuff that was even on the main Starfield subreddit. However, this post has since been deleted, so yeah, a lot of the stuff going on right now I just kind of have to be wary of. And if you are wanting to avoid spoilers, I would definitely avoid the Starfield subreddit as well as a lot of the stuff on YouTube right now too. Also, when I do my videos after launch, I'll try to be sure to do stuff in the earlier stuff in the early game so I don't have any spoilers. Same thing that I did for my BG3 videos where I kind of kept everything into Act 1, especially even a week or two in. We also did have that Starfield live action trailer. If you haven't seen it, I'll have a link to it down below. And I do believe there's something happening on the 30th I'll have to look into and double check. Can't find an exact source on something, but I did see someone mention something in the comments. Also, I might run some polls closer to launch when we get some more information on the traits, skills, and stuff like that. Kind of see what type of gameplay you guys are going to decide to play, or maybe even keep it a little bit more generic with the poll. All in all, let me know your thoughts on everything. That should about cover for today's video. And if you like it, and subscribe. Until the next deuce.